and doctor's office.
Could use more ketchup.
No, probably not. No.
Just little bits of it?
Thank you. Is it good? Oh, that's great. Bob, why did they think you were talking to them? Just asking them random questions?
Yeah, just random questions.
Random questions. Okay, that is funny to me. We wanted to do that with the hidden camera. The problem is we don't have all the resources that we need to do that. But, you know, to just randomly go up to people and start eating their food.
Start eating their food. Fear the Bob. Fear the Bob.
That's funny to me, Bob Carroll. We need a little giggle like that on a Monday morning. Thank you so much. Well, producer Bob really likes to eat. That was obvious from that story. And he's even taking part in our vegan challenge starting today. Bob's even doing it, and if Bob can give it a try, that says something. I know you're not interested at all. Okay, several staff members have agreed to try this vegan thing for a week. So coming up, we'll show you how our vegan shopping trip went. We went to Earth Fair at South Park, and we'll tell you more about why we're giving this a try.
Okay, are you feeling good yet? How long have you been a vegan? How long officially so far?
How many? About 6 hours.
Okay. Well, you look great. You look fantastic.
Fantastic.
I tell you, you feel great. You look great. This vegan thing's working out for you.
For breakfast, Shabaka, our trainer, we're going to talk with him in just a moment. He told me to have oatmeal, which is already what I have for breakfast.
Okay.
And with blueberries, and I already do that. So far.
So far, so good.
You know, it's come lunchtime when things go awry. Come dinner time when, you know, when my kids are stressing me out. That's when it all goes wrong for me. We want to know, so this is a challenge for most of us, really. We want to know, what's the most difficult thing you've ever challenged yourself to do? Tell us on Facebook or send an email to charlottetoday@wcnc.com. Let us know something difficult or big challenge that you took on.
Well, that is quite a challenge, and I commend y'all for doing that. I'd never make it, so.
Don't yet, until we'll see if I can make it through the week. I did promise to really try my hardest to do this, and I've certainly done things that are more challenging than this, so I think I can do it for a week.
It's hard when it comes to taking away that meat and those animal products.
My husband put it this way, vegetarian then seems easy when you're talking about vegan. It's like the difference between a half marathon and a marathon, you know? Now I'm thinking, well, heck, I could be a vegetarian easily. You know, when you realize how much, you know, I can't eat cheese. I can't eat normal cheese or any dairy or anything. So.
No. Good luck. Godspeed to you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, coming up this morning, why saying I'm sorry is so important in your marriage. Counselor Mike Vaughn joins us to talk about how to apologize.
And as we were talking about, it's going to be a long week here on Charlotte Today. Colleen, other staff members go vegan. We'll see how they did on their first trip to the grocery store.
Very good. And to help us get started, Dawn Beltrami cooks up vegan hamburger mushroom gravy with pasta. That's still ahead here on Charlotte Today. Well, it's a tall order for a meat lover like me. Some of the Charlotte Today staff have agreed to give the vegan diet a try for a week. It sounds overwhelming when you think about planning for it, when you think, what am I really going to eat? So the first step was to go shopping. We did that at Earth Fair at South Park. Have a look. We're here at Earth Fair. You're going to tell us what we need to eat this week.
Yes, the vegan challenge is underway, and I know everyone's going to be committed and going to give it 100%.
Yes, 100%. All right, let's go. We have the Fit 5 foods that we're focusing on. Shabaka, the first group, the fruits.
Yes. With the Fit 5 foods and this vegan challenge, apples are part of this vegan challenge.
And we're going to be eating a lot of berries.
Yes. The major benefit is they bring about weight loss. Eating berries, they're low glycemic, and also they offer protective vital nutrients for the brain and skin. And last but not least, don't forget about grapefruits and lemons. They're powerful fat-burning fruits.
All right, our second group, the vegetables.
Yes.
Okay.
With vegetables, the most important thing to focus on is spinach, arugula,
okay, good.
and the spring mix. And think of your salad as the main course. The green leafy vegetables are very nutrient dense. They're going to help you slim down, give you lots of vitality.
I hear they taste like meat, right? Tastes like meat.
I would say that. The third vegan food group are the beans.
Beans.
Okay? Beans are high in fiber, loaded in vitamins and minerals, awesome cardioprotective nutrients, and they help you slim down.
These are going to help me slim down.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get some beans, people. Nuts and seeds are our next group.
Yes, sunflower seeds are on the meal plan, and pumpkin seeds are on the meal plan as well. The most important thing about the raw nuts and seeds is this. They contain fats called MUFAs, monounsaturated fatty acids, which have been proven to reduce visceral and subcutaneous belly fat. So eat nuts
What is that
to
again?
burn
I'm
fat.
sorry, that's my struggle area.
Oh, yeah.
Belly fat, what? Okay. Our next food group, grains.
Whole grains, oatmeal. I call it the real breakfast of champions. Oatmeal is an excellent low glycemic whole grain. It's going to start our day off at meal number 1 for breakfast.
Okay. The healthy lifestyle trainer Shabaka Amen joins us now to talk more about the vegan way. Shabaka, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so there is a reason that you called me and asked me to take this challenge on.
That's right.
And
That's
your
right.
reason for asking me to do so is what?
Well, the reason, Colleen, is simple. Everyone thinks it's difficult, but the bigger and much larger issue is this. The purpose of the Vegan Challenge is really designed to increase public awareness about the health and body image benefits of eating more plant-based foods. Of course, in America, we have people dying from heart attacks, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, cancer. Medical doctors all call these chronic diseases diet-related. So this Vegan Challenge is really a healthful response to this American health crisis.
Just focusing more on a plant-based diet. We went over the Fit 5 foods.
That's right.
We went over those groups, the fruits, the vegetables, the grains.
That's right.
The nuts and seeds. And what am I forgetting? Did I get it all?
Legumes.
Oh, yeah, and
or
then
beans.
you got to eat all those beans.
That's
yes.
right.
Okay, so
You
we
got it
that.
down.
So we'll talk about some of the other benefits of focusing more on a plant-based diet.
Absolutely. I've found in the last 13 years as a personal trainer and healthy lifestyle coach, it's the fastest way to bring about weight loss.
Did you hear that? That's what got my attention. Really?
Now, I mean, reversing, medical doctors like Dr. Esselstyn at the Cleveland Clinic talk about how you can reverse heart disease. But as a personal trainer, of course, the primary focus is people wanting to get healthy. That's part of it. And they want to slim down. They want to lose weight. June is next month. It's a perfect way to bring about and initiate weight loss. And since you're on plant-based foods, organic, you're detoxifying your body. It's a cleanse, pre-summer cleanse and slim down.
It's a pre-summer cleanse and slim down is what we're doing here. Talk about some of the other meat substitutes. We went over the Fit 5 foods that you'd like us to eat more of, the fruits and the vegetables, the grains, the nuts, the seeds.
Yes.
What about when you're talking about meat products? That's where I got stuck. I thought, I don't know what to eat.
Absolutely.
When we went to Earth Fair, you showed us this variety of meat substitutes. As we take a look at the video right now, you can see there are all kinds of products that you can replace. Instead of eating chicken, try one of these.
Absolutely. The most important thing is people need to understand for everything I ask them to get rid of, I have a substitute that's helpful. Now, the meatless products have no cholesterol, no saturated fat. The texture is just like meat. They're delicious. They're
surprisingly good. I know everybody at home is thinking, no way. Shabaka had us try these soy nuggets. They looked like chicken.
That's right.
They tasted like chicken.
That's right.
The consistency was really
and
good.
Did they taste good?
They tasted great. They were delicious. They were delicious. And then we're also not doing any dairy products.
That's
but
right.
there are
Cheese
replacements for
That's
that,
right.
too.
We take cheese out. We take, of course, cheese. Most Americans get the saturated fat more so from dairy products, even more than meat. So we take the cheese out. You have substitutes like the coconut milk-based yogurt. Remember that?
Right, we just showed
that. You have almond milk in place of milk. You have coconut milk. You even have the desserts.
Yes.
Remember the ice cream?
The ice
coconut
cream.
milk-based ice cream. And
That's
they had hemp milk-based ice cream.
It's really, once you go to the right place, it's really not as difficult as you might think. Quickly, are there any risks to doing this kind of a diet?
There's absolutely no risk. Usually, when I tell people if they transition to a plant-based diet, it's good to supplement your B vitamins. And that's, everyone needs to be supplementing B vitamins anyway. If you're a strict vegan, it's very important to make sure you get that B complex supplement. Other than that, it takes away risk for heart disease, strokes, hypertension, diabetes, and different medical individuals such as Dr. Esselstyn have shown that it reverses heart disease. If you're on a strict plant-based diet, it reverses heart disease. Takes away risk for it, takes away risk for strokes, And of course, it reverses obesity.
And I know you've seen these changes in the clients you've worked with. You can
Yes.
check out Shabaka's website. It's bodyofyourdreamsstudio.com, bodyofyourdreamsstudio.com. We're going to give this a go for a week.
Absolutely.
And see how
You can do it.
All
You
right,
can
man,
win.
I believe you.
You can win.
Well, I may be texting you a lot for encouragement, but we'll see. We'll see how it
That's
goes.
fine.
All right,
Be
Shabaka, thank
glad
you.
to coach you. Absolutely.
All right, sometimes saying I'm sorry can be difficult. Next on Charlotte Today, Counselor Mike Vaughn tells us how to really apologize to our spouses.
Hi, Patrick Combs here for Leaf Proof, the fastest growing gutter protection company in North America. Leaf Proof protects your gutters from clogging leaves, pine needles, and other debris, completely eliminating the need to ever clean your gutters. And Leaf
To relationships today, there are two small words that make a big impact. But saying I'm sorry isn't always easy.
Still, owning up to your mistakes is critical in the health of a marriage. Here to tell us how to do it effectively is Counselor Mike Vaughn from the Carolinas Counseling Group. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Hi,
Thanks for
how
having
are
me.
you?
I'm good.
So why is it so important? Why, Mike? Why?
Well, okay, so basically we're all going to make mistakes, right? And within the context of marriage especially, if you're going to repair any conflict that you have with your spouse, and I'm sorry, and a good one at that, is going to be an effective or important part of that. So in order to basically, I think this is one of the things that's the glue in a marriage, is being able to say I'm sorry in a good way, in a way that really repairs the relationship, and then you move forward. So it's very important, actually.
Well, a heartfelt, sincere I'm sorry goes a very long way.
Very long
It
way.
can go a very long way. So there are different types of apologies.
Right. Okay, so there are some authors named Thomas and Chapman, and basically what they've come up with is they say there are 5 different apology types.
Okay.
And here's the catch. Your spouse may not be the same type as you, so if you're apologizing in a certain way, your spouse may be taking that as insincere because it's not their type, quote unquote. So what's important is to know basically what your spouse's type is and what yours is as well, so your spouse can apologize in the way that's most effective for you. So basically what those 5 are, you've got regret, which is just simply I'm sorry, and you can put however much with that you want, but there's a critical component, which is you have to say the words I am sorry, for whatever it is. So regret is one of them. They're all start with R, so they're easy to remember, basically. You've got responsibility, just what it sounds like. I'm taking ownership and responsibility for my contribution to whatever this is. Sometimes in the office I've had this go awry because I'm taking responsibility for this, and the spouse says, wait a minute, that's not what in the beginning of that. But still, I think anytime you're at least owning part of it, that's good. You've got repentance, which is essentially saying, you know what, I'm going to do something different in the future. I'm going to turn away from this and act differently. You've got requesting forgiveness, which is you actually have to say the words, will you please forgive me? So that's an important one. And let's see, which one did I not get to? Regret, responsibility, repentance, requesting forgiveness.
Restitution.
Restitution, thank you.
Aha.
So essentially this is basically, what can I do to make this better? This is the stereotypical, I'm going to bring flowers home, or I'm going to bring a gift, or I'm going to take you to dinner type of thing. That's what restitution is, which is perfectly fine if that happens to be your spouse's apology language.
Right.
But not if it's not, and that's the key. So of those 5, and they have actually, if you're interested in doing this, on Thomas and Chapman's website, the 5 languages of apology, you can take a quiz that shows you, or an assessment that shows you what your apology type is. And so you know what yours is, spouse takes it, and then basically you want to tailor your apology to your spouse and them to you.
So should you tell your spouse or ask your spouse what kind of apology do you like? What apology type are you?
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because what you don't want to do, I mean, marriage is difficult enough. Why continue to spin your wheels doing something that's not really effective for your spouse? You think it's good and you have good intention, but it's not hitting them as squarely as it could. So I think that's a fabulous idea. Talk about it and find out what it really means to them to hear an effective apology that seems sincere, and then you do that.
How important is tone when making an apology?
That's a good question too. Tone, because here's the thing about apologies. You can apologize without apologizing, and I think that that's the important piece there. I mean, obviously you have to really, I think, have reflected on why you're apologizing and know why. You have to truly be remorseful, and that's going to be conveyed in your tone and all the other nonverbals that go along with the body language and all of those things as well. It's very important.
Because some people just consistently apologize, and it has no meaning when you do it over and over.
So there's 2 types of bad apologies, or there are probably more, but these are my 2 types. Basically, the apology that never happens. Men are kind of bad at this a lot of times. Hate to out us on that, but we do.
It's probably true. I mean, I think
stereotypically.
Yes, I know, and I
Generally.
try to avoid those, but I think that's
I can
seems to
say
be
it,
a
I'm a
common
man.
theme. Yes, right.
And then, like you're saying, Rob, the apology that is insincere, where you apologize a lot, and those are usually people that are conflict avoiders. They're saying I'm sorry so they can move past whatever the conflict is and get past it, but they're not really serious about the apology. And so, in effect, it doesn't do any good. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't repair anything.
What happens if you don't get the I'm sorry that you have been needing? I mean, the whole reason we're talking about this is because it is crucial to for the health of your marriage to really, if you feel that you need an apology, to hear it and hear a sincere, I'm really sorry that you feel I messed that up or whatever. I mean, it's critical, isn't it?
It is critical. And so I think what you have to do there if you don't get that is, you know, we want to be careful not to enter back into conflict, but I think you have to continue to pursue that with your spouse until you get to that place where both of you feel that repair is really there. And sometimes maybe that spans a little course of time, but I think what you definitely do not do with that is if you are left with that feeling, do not leave that alone. Do not let that sit in there and do nothing with it. You have to address it because that type of stuff ends up really kind of tending to shut us down and create distance between us and our spouses.
It's so important. And if you are one of those people who has a hard time saying I'm sorry, just practice. The more you do it, it's not admitting that you're not saying you're a bad person.
That's right.
Nobody's saying that. It's just, oh, I messed up, because we all do.
We all
It's okay
do.
to be vulnerable. I can't tell you how many fights we've had about apologies.
Well, that's
I'll say,
right, that's it.
say these words. I'll write them down. I need to hear you say this with this tone. We're getting better. We're getting better at it.
It takes a practice.
Mike, thank you so
Mike.
much.
You're welcome.
All right. It's the season for dads now that we've moved away from Mother's Day, talking about dads and grads.
Of course, gift ideas they're sure to love when Charlotte Today returns.
You never know what's going to happen on Charlotte Today. Don't miss out. Watch it live or anytime on your DVR.
So we just celebrated Mother's Day, but now it's time to start thinking about gifts for dads and, of course, graduates.
And joining us with a few ideas, Amy Sewell from Shop with Style. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi, it's great to be back.
Well, here we go. We got Father's Day coming up. We got a ton of graduations, and you've got some great ideas for us.
I worked with several companies to put together some ideas, starting off with personalized items. You can't go wrong with that. And Shutterfly has these really wonderful prints that you can do. The one we have on the end, it's a canvas print. It's enlarged. It's wrapped around a wooden frame. The collage that we have right here, this is their mounted wall art. And what you can do is you just upload some really good high-res photos to Shutterfly.com, and you can do, you could do a single photo. You could do several like this. It's just a really great way to, get pictures of the entire family, maybe a family vacation, like we have here from you.
Or if you'd like a good-looking family like ours, you can just put this one on your wall. Why not?
Exactly.
Rob Tanner's family from their trip to Disney. Isn't that cute? Shutterfly.com.
Yeah, and these range from 12 by 12 all the way up to 2 by 3 feet for the canvas prints. You can get, really good gallery piece for your wall, basically.
Cool. That's nice to me for a grad or a dad, either one. That's a good one, okay?
Well, for people who love their cars, and we have a few folks like that around here, these are from Computer Gear, and these are just really adorable. This is the Engineer set right here. And what you do, you have a bowl here with a tire tread, and you have the little hubcap on it for the lid.
Look at how cute that is.
Aren't these just adorable? They even have one here. This is the nut bowl, they call it. But again, and then you have the tire tread mug for this one, and the utensils that look like tools. So
that is a fun thing for somebody who loves cars.
yeah, a nice set. Those are from computergear.com, which is a great place for gadgets and that kind of thing. And they're $69.99 for each set.
$69.99
Per set. Well, for people who have a lot of maybe videos that you want to organize, and the family or friends or whatever, Sony Creative Software has their Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum software. This is the 10th edition of this, and it's a really great way to capture and edit and organize all of those videos that you have. You can edit them in virtually any format. You can do the HD as well, and the great way is you can share them in any format. You could burn Blu-ray discs, upload them to YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want to do with them. And if you're new to video editing, they have great tutorials called Show Me How. So, even if this is a brand new thing for you, it's going to be very easy to get it done. Great for Father's Day or for grads. So again, kind of double duty.
That's good. I like that one.
Well, this next thing, we don't normally think of flowers as a traditional Father's Day gift, but this is just too cute. This is from Teleflora, and this is the King of the Grill Weber grill bouquet right here.
Do you see that? It's a little grill.
It's a perfect replica of the Weber kettle grill right here. This is from Teleflora, and what I love about Teleflora is you have the convenience of ordering online, but then this is arranged and delivered by a local florist. This was done by Baskets and Blossoms here in Charlotte.
Okay.
So that way it's going to arrive looking like this. You know, you don't get it and then have to take it out of a box and arrange things yourself.
Very nice. And you got a little grill.
Exactly.
My mother would like that. She would. She would like that. She does all the grilling for my parents. She
Just
does
a
it.
cute
She'd
little
like it.
tabletop
It's cute.
item after the
It's very
holidays
cute.
over. Well, for people who are cooking out on the grill quite a bit, Bed Bath & Beyond has this really great, it's a Mr. Barbecue triple action grill brush. And you have the stainless steel bristles on each side. You also have the bristles on the end here, so you need to kind of get down into the grill and get it nice and clean. That's easy to do. And that's only $7.99, so that's a really great price
That's
for a
easy
good
for
heavy-duty
that,
grill brush,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Well, finally, you know, for the graduates out there, you know, particularly those heading off to college, Bed Bath & Beyond is kind of a go-to place for a lot of people. You might want to put together a nice basket like this. Just think of some of the standard things that they might want to use for their room. You know, whether it's a desk lamp, alarm clocks, towels, you know, little storage bins like this. You can also just get them gift cards because, you know, if you're not really sure, or maybe they're going to do the shopping after they get to college, that's a great way to go as well. And you can get those at any Bed Bath & Beyond in the
But that's
city.
really thoughtful, though, too, to put
Exactly.
together the basket. That's really cute with all
Very
the
colorful.
stuff that they would need for their dorm room. That's wonderful.
Or a first apartment even, for people who are graduating from college
Or
this
just a
year.
basket full of money. That's what they like sometimes. A basket full of money.
Exactly.
That's a great idea, though. Good stuff.
Amy Sewell, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So good to see you. Okay, there's a lot more Charlotte Today still ahead on this Monday morning.
Find out how Charlotte is honoring the 50th anniversary of the Freedom Riders when we come back.
Vegan a try? We've got a recipe that might entice you coming up on Charlotte Today. Plus, traveling with your pet, ways to make it easier.
This month marks the 50th anniversary of the Freedom Ride, one of the best-known episodes of the 1960s civil rights movement.
An interracial group of student activists called attention to ongoing segregation by simply riding together on Greyhound Trailways buses and then going into bus stations and ignoring the white and colored signs.
Please welcome Charlotte attorney Charles Jones, who joined the Freedom Ride in Charlotte 50 years ago. Hello, good morning.
A most gracious good day to each of you.
Oh, we're honored to have you here today. Really, truly, we are.
Well, it's a blessing to be here.
Did you have any idea when you were doing this years ago what kind of an impact this was going to have?
My grandmother, who I used to spend summers with, 6 years old, told me, boy, you God's child, you ain't no slave. You stand there, we've been teaching you, and you represent, and don't be scratching parts of your body. And talk what we've taught you. But don't start thinking you better than anybody, because I come there, smack you right upside the back of your head. Yes, ma'am. So that balance walked us through periods where you didn't know, and to have been invited by Oprah to come after 50 years. And I know why that is the most organized staff. I've been checking you all out. You would be amazed at how. So, yeah, I don't know if I answered your
How
question.
we fall short, yes. We don't quite have the staff that she has, Mr. Jones.
We've got Bob.
Can you talk about the Oprah experience? It was last week?
It was on the 28th. We were invited to fly up on the 27th. They picked up everything, and my point was not to compare your total professionalism, but can you imagine bringing 178 people in, organizing to the point where we always flowed, and the stage stuff going up and down, and anyway. Here we are in Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm seeing folks that I had been in jail with. Charles Sherrod, a dear friend of mine, down in Southwest Georgia. Succinctly, here's the blessing. May of this year, we met at Shaw University, where we were 50 years ago, organized a Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Back in February, I was invited to be a part of the planning of the 50th anniversary in Rock Hill, South Carolina, of the Jail No Bail, where we spent 30 days of hard labor. Oprah invites us to come to Chicago to celebrate 50 years. And now, in early June, I'll be going to Southwest Georgia to join Charles Sherrod for the 50th anniversary of the Southwest Georgia movement. I mean, it don't get no better than that, Joe. Did I answer your question?
No, it's just beautiful to hear you talk.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it is. It's beautiful to hear you talk. I know you have a million stories to tell.
you. Wow, thank you for inviting me just to share that one.
I have to ask you, you have been filming now part of this for PBS. Isn't there a special coming up next week that's going to be on?
When we got on the 27th to Chicago, that evening, they showed the PBS documentary, which will be aired, I think, the 18th. I must tell you that the brothers, all men are brothers to me, all women are sisters, so who put that together had done such research, and as I read the book, that is the context for the PBS, I kept running to my little name, right? Meeting the Freedom Rise here. When they came through, I had to finish my exams at the Theological Seminary. And the various points, having met with Harold Belafonte and gotten the voter registration section of SNCC going, and then here's this huge screen of all of those intense moments, y'all. And you saw the bomb, where they had thrown a bomb in the bus. And Hank Thomas and the rest of them coming, finally getting out coughing, and this young lady of 11, white female, where you were in front of her place, her father's place, saw the need and took some water out and wiped the faces and gave them water. And she was at the Oprah show, right? Oprah's there. It turns out that Sherrod and I'm on the third row from there. And if I have a tear, listen, you know, I ain't going macho and all that crap. All right, Scooty.
That's okay.
Yeah. Ooh, go ahead and pick up your question.
I just wish we could just, I know you, like I said, I know you have so many stories to tell. If you would like to hear more from Charles Jones, the Freedom Riders 50th anniversary event is happening tonight at the Levine Museum of the New South. We should tell you the event is free. It starts at 6 o'clock, that's the reception, and then at 7 o'clock, the discussion starts. For more information, you can go to museumoftheNewSouth.org, museumoftheNewSouth.org. Again, tonight at 6 o'clock, the Levine Museum of the New South. You can hear more from Charles and from others, too, and the teenagers who've taken part in this, recreating the ride, which is part of the PBS special, which we didn't really totally touch on. But you can go check it out tonight if you'd like. Thank you so much.
Oh, it is my pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're dear, sweet, beautiful man. Thank you. Give it up, bro. Come on. Why are you going to hold out on him? Come on. All right. When we come back, a hamburger, mushroom gravy, and pasta recipe.
And did we mention it's vegan? Yep. Join us in the Proxy Kitchen and find out what this is all about next on Charlotte Today.
Cooking Today is brought to you by Proxy. Clean you expect, ingredients you trust.
Earlier in the show, we told you that some of the staff has committed to going vegan for a week. If you think that means we're going to eat nothing but carrots for dinner, think again. We're cooking vegan hamburger mushroom gravy with pasta with Chef Dawn Beltrami. Dawn, great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a totally vegan meal.
Totally vegan.
Okay.
Yep. And what I've done so far is I added my chopped onions, cooked those down for about a minute, added some garlic because we don't want to add our garlic in the beginning, otherwise it'll burn. Saute that for about another minute. And now we're putting our mushrooms in. You want to add a little salt to your mushrooms at this point, and what the salt will do is draw out the liquids so the mushrooms will start cooking down.
You want to show us, too, that vegan can taste really good.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's no reason why we have to lose the flavor. We're actually going to boost the flavor so no one will even know you're serving vegan. And you don't have to tell everybody your secrets. That's what my mother always tells me. Don't tell everybody your secrets.
You know that's true.
It's true. You don't have to tell people. They don't need to know. We've already cooked our pasta. It's here waiting. Now you're going to want to cook your mushrooms down for about 3 to 5 minutes. I like my mushrooms really well cooked. If you don't, you can do it 3 minutes, but I like mine well cooked. Okay. So you'd cook these down for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then what you'll do is we're going to add 1 can of coconut milk.
Okay.
Now you can add light if you want to watch your calories, or you can use regular if calories is not what you're worrying about.
Okay.
And what this will do, go ahead and add it to this.
And what did you put any oil in the pan or anything?
I put a tablespoon of oil.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to do the whole can.
Go ahead and pour it in.
Just pour it in.
Coconut milk.
I'm going to turn the heat down. And what you can see this is doing is it got really thick, right? So we're getting a lot of benefits from this coconut milk.
Smells like a pina colada a little
Yes,
bit to me.
exactly. Exactly.
Smells good.
And then we're going to add 1 cup of rice milk.
Okay.
And what that coconut milk is going to add is some thickness.
Okay.
It's also going to add a lot of nutrients. As you guys were discussing earlier, coconut is really healthy for you. So you're adding nutrients, we're adding some depth of flavor to our meal, and we're also adding some thickness. So you're getting a lot of you're getting a trilogy here, okay? So then you'd want to cook this for about 1 to 2 minutes until it comes up to a boil. And then at that point, if you could add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, this is another cup of rice milk.
Okay.
So you're just going to add 2 cups of rice milk and just add that.
Okay.
And then 1 more.
Why do we need the rice milk too?
Well, if you would have just add the coconut milk, it would be way too powerful. Okay, we're not making a curry. Okay, if you were making a curry, if you wanted to make a curry with this, you could, but we're making a hamburger gravy. We're making Americana food. This is really comfort food. So we don't really want that. We're actually using the coconut milk for thickener, not necessarily as a curry. So then the rice milk will dilute that, and you can use rice milk, almond milk, soy milk, but I would tell you to use plain. Don't go vanilla, because then we've got too many flavors going on here.
Yeah, don't go flavored milk.
Right, don't go flavored milk. You're gonna whisk this up just like you normally would, and then this would be to a boil. When you would add this, you want to make sure it's at a boil. And then once you add that to this, you would cook this down for about another 3 to 4 minutes until it got thick. And then
yes, what are we adding here? What is this?
This is what you were discussing earlier.
A meat replacement product.
This is your meat replacement product. This is a soy, it's a ground soy, so it's our hamburger. It's got 12 grams of protein per serving. So here we've taken care of our protein.
Yes, there you get your protein.
Yep, and it's already pre-cooked, so you're not having to cook this. I'm sorry to
That's okay. You did a little bit.
Oh my God.
That's not your fault. That happens.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now she's going to kill me.
I'll just send you the dry cleaning bill.
Okay, you
it's all good. Yeah, don't worry about it.
And then add a little bit of cumin to it, and we're just doing that for flavor. Again, we're just building up flavor, okay? And then you're going to cook this down, like I said, for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's going to become a really nice, thick product that looks like this.
And again, you don't have to brown that fake meat because
it's already
pre-cooked.
cooked, and it's not even meat. It's just a soy product.
Right.
So, and look what it does to the meat. It turns it brown. Everybody's going to think that this is meat.
Yes.
And it has the same texture and consistency of regular meat. And now you can taste it.
What kind of pasta do you serve it over?
And you want to make sure it's vegan, because a lot of pasta has eggs in it or egg whites. So you want to look at the back of your ingredients and make sure that the pasta you're using only has flour and no egg product in it at all.
And again, that's just by reading the ingredient
Just reading the ingredients.
And a lot of the health food stores too. Like I know that at Earth Fare they have a section for that, and it's very easy to
And if
find
you're
it.
gluten-free, you can do a rice noodles with this. You can do quinoa noodles with this. Yeah.
It's good.
It's really good, and you would never know that it's vegan. And the mushrooms are going to give you some substance. The mushrooms are going to give you that familiar taste that we know. Plus, it'll kind of mask a little bit of the soy taste that's in there.
No,
and
it's very satisfying. You feel like this is very good.
And it's
sure beats a salad.
economical.
Yeah.
Just a few ingredients. It goes a long way if you have a big family. So
very good.
Yeah.
And you're right, the coconut milk is not overpowering. Dawn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you want that recipe, you can go to our website. I'm just going to cross behind you.
No
It's
problem.
WCNC.com/Charlotte today. We keep all of our recipes there. Vegan recipe number 1, very good. We're not doing vegan all week. We're eating vegan all week, but that's not all we're doing at the kitchen this week.
It looks delicious.
So Brittany has also taken the vegan challenge.
Yes, you have. Yeah, and what we're talking about with our Facebook friends today is what's the most difficult thing that you've actually challenged yourself to do?
Well, Michelle, she lost 100 pounds, and she still has it off, 100 pounds, and she still has 100
Good for
pounds
her.
off. Awesome. James said quit smoking. He said, oh my gosh, it was so hard, but he stopped smoking.
Good for you.
Tasha said no meat for 90 days during Christmas and Thanksgiving. She said it was the hardest thing ever to do, but she did it. No meat. And Wendy said, I was deathly afraid of water, but I faced my fears and I went scuba diving.
Oh my gosh. See, when you do what you fear, then you don't fear it anymore.
Absolutely.
And you really prove to yourself. It's just a great feeling.
Good for all
Brittany,
of you.
thank you so much. Coming up next, traveling with your pet. The Carolina Dog Master joins us with a few tips that might make the experience a little bit easier.
If you don't have access to the internet but would like a recipe seen on Charlotte Today, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Charlotte Today Recipes at 1001 Woodridge Center Drive, Charlotte, North Carolina 28217.
Your summer vacation and you're considering taking your dog with you, there's a few things you should consider before you make that final decision. Larry Sprinkle is here with Turk Akbey, the Carolina Dog Master, to find out more.
Yeah, it's that time of the year that a lot of folks are probably starting to plan their summer vacations, you know, and with families and their pets. You know, pets, that's a major part of the family. A lot of folks, rather than leaving them somewhere, you know, they want to take them with them. So let's talk about some of the issues, some of the problems people may have. One of those, I think, is you're traveling long distance, you need to stop somewhere with the dog. There aren't many places that allow you to stay with your pet, right?
Yes, Larry. Unfortunately, not all hotel chains allow dogs, so it's really important to check before going. In fact, before making reservations.
Don't just head out and say, well, we'll stop right here, because you're going to get a lot of no's. So
yes,
there's a couple that really allow that, right?
There are some hotel chains, like Quintain does, definitely pet friendly, but it's always good to check with each location.
Okay, La Quinta's one of those. Okay, so you're heading out, you've got your pet with you, your dog. We're talking about dogs right now. Not too many people travel their cats.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, there's some things to think about before you head out. Talk about some of those.
First of all, we want to pack as if we can't find pet stores.
Right.
We want to pack just as we pack for our kids all their daily needs, food, water bowl, toys. Those are really important things to do.
What about when you're traveling? You know, you think about a dog, they tend to get car sick, so you don't really feed them before you start?
Yeah, so some dogs do get car sick. So the best thing to do is really maybe do a test run to go maybe 30, 45 minutes distance to see how the dog is going to handle. And you can definitely want to have your dog travel with an empty stomach if possible. They will need water. And to have a water in the car safely, you can purchase these spill-proof.
That's spill-proof?
Water bowl, yeah.
Okay, that's very nice.
And you can keep it in your car.
Very nice.
It's really good. Any pet store will have them. They're under $5.
So they have to, like people, they got to be hydrated, so they're not necessarily eating anything. And some of the things that you think about is that you got your dog out there, and a little test run is good. And that's if you're traveling in a car.
Yes.
And you've never done that before. A lot of people nowadays are taking long distance trips. They may want to take a flight with their animal, and this is when size matters, where they travel, right?
Yes, yes. Each airline has specific requirements. Traveling with pets is really a big issue. Small dogs can usually travel inside the cabin as long as they can fit under the seat.
Well,
so we're talking about tiny
dog
dogs.
carriers, right? Yeah. Okay.
Larger dogs have to go under the with the luggage. Of course, they're protected there.
They are pressurized, so that's good to hear.
Yes.
But there's some dogs that are too large to even travel, right?
Yes. For example, here in Charlotte, U.S. Airways will not accept extra large dogs. Right. Mastiffs, Great Danes, they can't fly out of Charlotte. It's important for everyone to check with each airline of the trip.
And then there's certain types of dogs that traveling is dangerous anyway, the pug types, you know, they maybe have breathing problems.
Yes, right? The pugs, boxers, bulldogs. In fact, some cities like Las Vegas or Phoenix will not allow dogs to come into their town because they can't breathe and the temperatures go really high.
Yeah, some interesting points to make. If you'd like more information, offleashdogtraining.com, Turk Akbey. Thank you, Turk. And Turk is with us quite often here, and there's some great information about traveling with your dog.
Yes, thank you, Larry.
Some important things to think about. More Charlotte Today right after a quick check on what's coming up at News Channel 36 at noon. Bobby?
Well, hi there, Larry. Up next, one person.
In Charlotte's headquarters for home furnishings, gifts, and more.
What about on the Today Show this morning? Did you hear Meredith Vieira make the announcement that she will be leaving in June?
Really?
She's leaving next month. Yes, and Ann Curry is Meredith Vieira's replacement on the Today Show.
Gracious, a lot of changing around going on lately. You're all right. You're not going nowhere.
Well, I hope so. I don't know. My key still works here at the building. They still let me in.
You know, up the chain. You know, up the chain.
I'm happy right here.
Good.
I've said that before, and I mean that. Coming up tomorrow on Charlotte Today, we look at 3 things you need to know to be beach body ready. 3 moves, 3 exercises you can do to be beach body ready. Also, Charlotte Parent Magazine talks about family travel tips, how to really make those summer vacations great.
And the Charlotte Today staff went zip lining. Find out what that was all about and how it all turned out and if anybody was injured.
It's this great place in Rock Hill. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to see this story. Yeah, I tried my hand at zip lining. Keep it here for the news at noon, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Dancers who toured the country showcasing their synchronized street moves and outrageous outfits.
Don Campbell was the inventor of the dance called locking. This is the locking of the joints. It's like you move and you lock. Lock. Lock.
That dance actually served as the original format of how we as break dancers, we formatted our routines. Those dances set the trend for the hip-hop dances to come.
Soul Train gave birth to a lot of dances that are popularized even to this day. Popping, ticking, whacking, robot. All of this stuff came from Soul Train.
The robot had always been one of the show's most unique dances, but its popularity skyrocketed when one of the biggest stars picked up on it.
I do remember the day that Michael Jackson premiered The Robot on Soul Train. All my cousins seen it, and then they just instantly, you just had to do the robot.
Dancing, dancing, dancing. She's a dancing machine. Oh, baby, move it, baby.
That whole style of dance influenced Michael. He was so in tune and informed by what was happening on Soul Train.
In its 4 years on air, Soul Train had become more than just a cultural phenomenon. It was a lifestyle, a tight-knit community that everyone wanted to be a part of, even the greatest musicians of all time.
Soul Train. Went down Cornelia.
Stevie Wonder made his own song up on the spot about the Soul Train gang.
Soul Train.
And he got us to sing in with him. It was an exciting moment for me.
And let me hear everybody say, well, all the brothers and sisters get together. Say louder. Hey, hey, hey. Clap a little louder, people.
Soul Train, show number 154, VTR 92075.
By the mid-'70s, Don Cornelius, the kid from Chicago who once dreamed of putting black music on TV, had become a Hollywood heavyweight.
Welcome. Do you think that the feeling about music is changing?
I think it's at a height where it is being enjoyed by probably more people than ever before.
Don was enjoying life, even breaking into a Soul Train episode to play a game of basketball with a new pal.
Marvin Gaye and I were really good friends.
They cleared the entire studio, and Marvin and Don played one-on-one with Smokey Robinson refereeing.
Both of them thought they could hoop, but I could have beat both of them by myself. Don might have been on top of his game that day, But off camera, a new threat was blowing in from the East Coast.
Disco came in so strong, it was almost intimidating.
There was certainly a move in the late 1970s toward more entertainment hedonism. There was a lot of, youthful drug use, a lot of cocaine, and disco was associated with a lot of that.
Don felt the repetitious dance beats lacked musicianship and soul.
It's a big difference between funky music and disco music.
When disco evolved, we didn't know what to do.
As the unstoppable force of disco spawned rival shows such as Disco 77 and Disco Magic, Don stood at a crossroads. Remain an arbiter of soul or cede to the disco craze.
We came to realize that the best disco records almost invariably were black records. So we made a commitment to just play the best black records we could find. Now, if you want to call it disco, fine.
When you're laying so close to me, there's no place I'd rather you be than with me.
A lot of people feel as though, that was the period that sort of took the soul out of it.
Things began to change. You all of a sudden saw this disco, Studio 54, almost New York vibe, find its place into Soul Train.
He took the sign away, and it was replaced with the crystal ball. Thank God that only lasted for one season.
Don might not have been a fan of disco, but he made it work to his advantage when he started his own music label, Soul Train Records. The first act he assembled was a disco group, and he turned to the Soul Train dancers for talent.
Remember, I was at Jody's house, and we got a call. And it was Don Cornelius. He says, I have a new project that I want you to do. I said, really?
Don picked Jeffrey Daniel and Jody Watley, the show's standout fan favorites, and Shalimar was born.
We were the most popular dancers on the show.
Jody and I just had a natural chemistry. We could just read each other, and that just comes from a real partnership.
Let's welcome three very talented people, ironically, all of whom were connected with Soul Train in one way or another before they became, shall we say, stars. Namely, they are Jody Watley, Jeffrey Daniels, and Howard Hewitt, better known as Shalimar.
Shalimar was promoted by Don. They were on Soul Train a lot.
I know you come a long way, baby, but you don't need that heart of stone, no. You prove that you can do it, baby.
When the rumor was that they were looking to get dancers to be in the Shalimar group, well, they better not pick so-and-so, and why did they pick her, and why did they pick him? The first time we did Soul Train as Shalimar, I remember just bawling in the dressing room. I was crying because there was kind of a bitter intensity. We're getting the evil eye, like,
Don's strategy eventually paid off, and the second time around hit #1 on the Billboard R&B charts.
We really thank you, so we would like to present you with a gold 45.
When Shalimar's not on the road, I'd sneak back on the Soul Train. It was my love, so I would still go down there and dance. And thank God I did.
Building on the locking style of the mid-'70s, the Soul Train dancers pioneered another groundbreaking art form.
Popping is the popping of the joints. It's boom, bang, pop, pop, pop.
And in November '79, Jeffrey Daniel debuted a move that would become one of the most popular moves in dance.
From popping came the backslide. Later pegged the moonwalk. That's the first time that the nation just saw it. It was just like, bam. Michael Jackson saw this dance and he thought it was amazing and he wanted to learn it. And so we all showed Michael how to do the moonwalk.
By the end of the '70s, the combination of popping, disco, and Don's growing legend made Soul Train soar to its highest ratings ever.
Disco helped promote Soul Train, no doubt about it.
While Don had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of the disco era, another movement was lurking in the shadows. It would challenge the very foundations of R&B and make the 80s a battleground for the soul of Soul Train. Where the 70s were all about us, 1980 ushered in a decade of me. Across America, blacks as well as whites were flashing their status symbols in expensive taste.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around.
McFadden and Whitehead's Ain't No Stopping Us Now is really an anthem of upward mobility.
Black people are moving up into the middle class. Like, you know, there's no stopping us now. We're on the move. We're going to make this happen. We're going forward. We're not going backwards anymore.
Beneath the surface, a different story was unfolding. And in the inner city, life was tougher than ever.
The conditions under which many African Americans in cities were living were pretty desperate.
Automatic weapons and highly profitable drug trades and 40, 50, 60% unemployment produces a whole nother level of really troubled urban communities.
And so hip-hop really emerges at this moment of loss and disappointment, but also with a real sensibility that it's important to depict what's going on.
Hip-hop took Soul Train by surprise because we thought it was something that might not stick.
Don objected to rap's bleak outlook, but reluctantly invited chart-topping rappers onto the show.
Broken glass everywhere. People on the stage, you know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got no money to move out, I guess I got no choice.
You know, I can understand Don Cornelius and the Soul Train being a little skeptical or nervous about hip-hop because it was a very rash new thing.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
When the message came out, the Furious Five wanted to wake up America and just talk about the things that were going wrong that people sometimes don't want to hear.
Why didn't people like hip-hop at first? What was to like? The profanity, the perceived disrespect for elders. It was the rebel music.
Just the idea that someone just speaks over beat and they get to be on TV. It was something that a lot of the adults in black pop culture weren't interested in.
Don gave his audience what they wanted, though he still chafed at the racy East Coast dance moves.
Don Cornelius did not want to see how I really danced. I was doing hip-hop, and it was foreign to people out in California. Don was like, oh, no, you're a girl. And I'm like, what?
He also made uncharacteristically blunt comments about the music.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to old guys like me. I mean, I don't understand why they love it so much.
Never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that Don Cornelius would say what he said. My heart dropped to my feet. It devastated me.
But that ain't my job, is it? My job is to deal with it.
I remember being offended by, here's a guy whose job it is to like everything that's hot, and he couldn't relate to it. That was kind of the epitome of what the whole industry felt about hip-hop. Here's this emerging art form that no one can understand or like, but yet somehow it's selling.
But as the 80s progressed and rap became more and more popular, Don learned to live with.
That was frightening.
If not exactly love, the new art form.
How about it for Public Enemy?
At a certain point, hip-hop records and even the hardcore hip-hop records had just established themselves as so central to black pop music that Soul Train couldn't ignore that.
People look at you funny if you are not booking these kind of artists because it's like you don't know what you're doing.
I could tell that Don was a little uncomfortable embracing it, but
As a businessman, I'm glad he was smart enough to give in.
Don's eventual acceptance of hip-hop helped launch the genre into the mainstream and gave acts like Run DMC, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, and Eric B. and Rakim national TV exposure for the first time.
The stage is empty. A beat like this might tempt me to pole show my rings and my fat gold chain. Grab the mic like I'm on Soul Train.
When Soul Train gave the hip-hop community a look, as far as letting them come on and perform their songs, that broke hip-hop.
It took it out of New York and brought it into the homes of people across the country.
MTV, rap.
But Don would soon face some serious competition.
Yo, welcome to the premiere of Yo MTV Raps.
Yo MTV Raps was another new thing where I'm running around on the street. So it was a whole different format to the show.
When BET and MTV came around, Soul Train didn't have a monopoly on that audience anymore.
It is much more difficult when these upstarts come around and they're able to be newer and edgier and completely define themselves from zero instead of define themselves within their own history.
While the late 80s were all about upheaval for Soul Train, through it all, Don remained on top. The show now aired in more cities and reached more fans than ever before. But as he revealed in the 1993 news interview, the times were changing faster than he was.
People want to see people who are more like them, who relate better and more closely. I could do it, you know. I could be like, yo, what's up and all that, but I would look stupid.
In a manner befitting an icon, he decided to step down while he was still on top. After more than 2 decades of keeping Soul Train on track, Don Cornelius signed off for good on May 10, 1993.
And you can bet your last money it's all going to be a stone dance, honey. I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and...
While it was the end of one era, it was also the beginning of another. Could Soul Train survive without Don Cornelius?
Your host, Shamar Moore.
Thank you. Now I want to welcome you aboard the funkiest train ride you will ever be a part of. Soul Train, Shamar Moore style.
Shamar brought his own style to the train, one a bit different than Don's.
No disrespect, but every other host of Soul Train pales in comparison because there's no cool like Don Cornelius cool.
Still, Soul Train lasted 13 more years, breaking new artists and staying influential, even without the soothing baritone of Don Cornelius.
Even when the competitors came in, the brand, Soul Train, is one of the greatest brands in the culture. You say Soul Train, you think Afro, you think dance moves, you think love, peace, and soul. That's a brand that succeeded.
In 2006, Soul Train left the station for the very last time. It had been on the air for a staggering 35 seasons, a feat that at the time made Don's Labor of Love the longest-running syndicated series ever.
35 years and having the longest-running syndication in the history of TV is incredible, and we should pay homage to that.
Don's legacy is the tapestry of mediums and platforms by which we can see black music now.
His legacy, for me, is my hero. His legacy as a man who created a show that had never been seen before is legendary.
So many people owe their careers. Me, I'm one of them, to Soul Train.
It changed my life because it got me out of my shell. It dared me to be great.
Check this out. For Don Cornelius to give us a chance to come and dance every Saturday and have people around the world watching that's something I will always cherish because it was a spectacular time in my life.
I had a pretty tumultuous childhood growing up, but Soul Train was the one thing I had to look forward to. It was glamorous, and I got to meet people and finally have a group of people that I felt like I belonged to. It saved me.
You know what I'm talking about. Come on, baby.
Soul Train was the thread that connected new stars with the legends of the past.
It's inspired, generations of performers. All my recollection goes back to seeing everyone from Marvin Gaye to Al Green on Soul Train. So that's kind of the blueprint of how to do it today.
The first time I did Soul Train, I stayed in the green room for about an hour and a half doing what I do, you understand me? It's like I'm here, I made it, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, I could say that I was with James Brown and, the Dramatics and Stevie Wonder and Curtis Mayfield, Marvin Gaye. I was on that level.
Bound to the wild, creeping and crawling, Yiggy yes yo, and Snoop Doggy Dogg in the house.
When it came on, I watched it over and over again. I watched this more than any video I had ever been in because I felt like I was gonna make it. I felt like that was the only stamp I was missing. Good looking out, Don, Soul Train. Appreciate y'all. I ain't looked back ever since.
In the end, Soul Train was more than just a TV show. It was a source of pride that influenced fashion, music, and dance. It was a celebration of life that changed the world around it forever.
If you go to any black wedding reception, there's going to be a Soul Train line still. That's going to be forever now.
You call out Soul Train line, and everybody knows exactly what to do. Whether they are 7 or 70, you fall right into place.
The Soul Train line, we do it at every holiday party. It's a part of our culture.
Any African-American gathering, it was official. You had to close it out. It was like a prayer and then the Soul Train line. You got to give it up to Jesus and then Don Cornelius.
I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in party,
I'm wishing you
love,
peace,
and
T for Team. It's the 20th anniversary of their landmark album.
To change the climate of opinion. One is this major conference that took place at University of Pennsylvania under the